Michael Bernstein was an eye surgeon who would work with very small instruments operating inside an eye. And he was a classically trained pianist and a tennis buff who, in the prime of life, at the age of 54, suffered an incapacitating stroke that made it impossible for him to move half of his body.
The left hand, the left arm, and left leg were paralyzed. The speech therapist and the occupational therapist said it would be very slow and not to expect too much.
Michael Bernstein was one of the first people to go to the newly opened Taub Therapy Clinic in Birmingham, Alabama, to try a new treatment called constraint-induced therapy. Dr. Edward Taub developed the therapy for stroke victims. It can even work on people who've been paralyzed for years.
All right, go, Marlene. Go. Really let go of it.
The patient's good arm is constrained in a mitt so it can't be used, forcing their paralyzed arm to try rudimentary tasks.
Keep going.
The axiom in rehabilitation was that there was nothing you could do with these people that would make them improve, that it would enable them to use their affected extremities any better than they could.
Judy had trouble communicating. She had a very serious stroke, October 24th.
One of the techniques that we use is called shaping. It's a kind of training technique in which you get a person to improve their motor response, their motor function, in very small steps.
The essence of the cure is this incremental training. Concentrated practice helps rewire the brain by triggering plastic changes. After there has been massive brain death, new neurons are recruited to take over lost functions.
Pick that up and back up. Yeah.
You don't try and get a person to perform a perfect movement. If they have just a rudimentary ability, you just try to get them to improve just a little bit.
Good. Good. Stretch it out. Stretch, stretch, stretch.
They're children's games to us, but to the patients, they're major life challenges. People who have had stroke or traumatic brain injury frequently don't use the more affected arm, not because they can't use it. They don't use it because they've learned not to try to use it. What we find after CI therapy is that the healthy part of the brain is recruited to produce movements of the affected arm.
Good.
And that is what we call neuroplasticity.